Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Get ready for some financial acrobatics because today we are diving into a business combination that's got more twists than a roller coaster. We will be dissecting the latest filings from CSLM Acquisition Corp, and it includes a proposed business combination with Fusemachines Incorporated. Before we start, if you appreciate getting straight insights from corporate documents, make sure you are subscribed. We also have a Discord community linked in the description below. Scroll is a report, date of earliest event reported. July 8, 2025 scroll. This document is a report specifically in 8K, meaning it is a current report filed to the Securities and Exchange Commission, or SEC. This report is triggered by significant events for CSLM Acquisition Corp. It is worth noting that CSLM Acquisition Corp does not have securities registered under Section 12 by U of the Securities Exchange Act of 1934. However, they do have securities registered under Section 12 CAC-U. These include units consisting of one Class A ordinary share, one right and one half of one redeemable warrant Class A ordinary shares, redeemable warrants and rights to acquire 1/10 of one Class A ordinary shares, redeemable warrants and rights to acquire 1/10 of one Class A ordinary shares, redeemable warrants and rights to acquire 1/10 of one Class A ordinary shares, redeemable warrants, and rights to acquire 1/10 of one Class A ordinary share. If that sounds convoluted, don't worry, we will try to simplify how these relate to what is going on. The main point of his filing revolves around updates to a previous announcement. Back in January of 2024, CSLM Acquisition Corp, whom we'll just call CSLM as trying to acquire Fusemachines, is the company they're trying to merge with. Basically, CSLM is trying to acquire Fusemachines, creating a single combined entity. The legal agreement they signed, called the Merger Agreement, outlines how this business combination will work. To keep everyone in the loop, CSLM and Fusemachines are sharing an investor presentation. You can find it attached to this report as Exhibit 99.1. But don't worry, we are extracting the vital pieces of information for the impatient. This presentation is going to be used in meetings with investors to get them excited about the business combination. Here's a key point. CSLM will ask its shareholders to vote on the business combination. That means they will send out a document called a proxy statement prospectus, a document used to gather shareholder votes. The document will explain all of the key details. This will allow CSLM shareholders to vote on whether or not they approve of the business combination. So pay attention if you own any shares of CSLM. This 8K also mentions details about who may be involved in drumming up support for the deal. It mentions certain directors, officers, and employees from both companies who would be considered participants, which is important because it means they are trying to convince investors of the deal. You can find more about CSLM's people in their annual report called a Form 10K that was filed back in April. There are lots of disclaimers included in the form. The first one is to clarify that it's not an offer to sell anything, so they won't be held accountable if any investor buys anything from a statement in this report. And the other big disclaimer includes forward-looking statements. These disclaimers protect the company from legal issues if they make predictions about the future that don't come true. Standard stuff for these types of filings. It is also good practice to keep it in mind when reading the content. To see everything with some reservation, finally, there is a listing of exhibits, including Exhibit 99.1, which is the investor presentation that we mentioned earlier, and Exhibit 104. That's the cover page for computers to read all of this information. Looking at this filing holistically, the main point is CSLM wants Fusemachines, and they are taking the necessary steps to make it happen, including informing shareholders and pitching it to investors. But is all this a good idea? CSLM seems to be banking on the potential of Fusemachines. That being said, mergers are risky. Integrating two companies into one is very complicated, and the risk could be a big problem. It also looks like the company is being realistic with investors, covering their ground, making sure they can't be held liable for forward-looking misstatements. To sum it up, the success of this deal will really depend on how well CSLM and Fusemachines can work together, how effectively Fusemachines can bring value to CSLM, and if CSLM shareholders think this deal is good value and decide to agree with the business combination. Alright, that's our breakdown of CSLM's latest filing. What is your take on this proposed business combination and what it might signal for the future of both companies? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Do not forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.